happy are you with your bank? A recent Brands Eye study has found that consumers are fed up with their banks. The study analysed more than 1 million social media posts about South Africa's banks. It found consumers are unhappy with ethics, pricing and slow service turnaround, among other things. The company's head of analytics, Laura Syria Rubia, talks to us from Cape Town. Laura, very good to have you with us. Tell us more about these complaints and what people are unhappy with.
Thanks, Jane. So what we're seeing is a year-on-year decline in sentiment, i.e. consumer perceptions of banks. We saw a 4.2% average industry decline between 2018 and 2019. Using our data, we actually were able to show that the key areas that trigger complaints from consumers and threats to cancel from consumers pertain to mostly operational customer experience related issues around turnaround time and resolution. We also saw a number of ethical conduct allegations throughout the year, which also prompted complaints rather.
All right, I mean, that's pretty disturbing, isn't it, the ethical one?
Would you like me to speak a little bit more to those?
Yes, please. What
we did see was conversation around triggered by Emerald van Zyl. As we know, he's a financial investigator around discrimination against black home loan clients, and that particularly impacted FNB and Standard Bank. ABSA was also somewhat implicated in allegations of overcharging black home loan clients. We also saw conversation around the Bancorp bailout, which obviously impacted ABSA, and as well as conversation around alleged FNB's investigations into our public protectors' personal bank accounts. So that triggered complaints around unethical conduct.
Understandable.
We also saw as well, in addition to that, we also saw conversation around retrenchments within the industry, namely Standard Bank's announcement earlier this year to close 91 branches.
What do you do, Laura, with this information?
So what we do is we actually use, just to give a little bit of context in terms of what kind of data we're looking at. We're looking at publicly available data, primarily on social media. So that's pretty much the last point of call where people go and complain, right, before possibly cancelling their bank accounts. And what we see is that we use artificial intelligence, machine learning, as well as human verification to ensure that we provide accurate findings, and we present these to the public in this instance, as well as to banks, to help them identify operational and reputational bottlenecks or issues that they need to address.
Do you think that the growing move to online banking is going to eliminate some of the problems that we're seeing today?
One of the interesting things is that when we actually carried out a channel analysis within our index, and what we saw is that traditional channels are key areas for complaints, whereas digital channels had less negative sentiment from the public. So there definitely is a drive towards digital, which also speaks to the idea of new entrants. So for this index, we looked at 3 new entrants, namely Bank Zero, Time Bank and Discovery Bank. And what we found was that new entrants' sentiment around them, while they're all at different stages of launching and onboarding customers, there was definitely a greater appetite there. And the digital offering in that space speaks to that appetite from consumers in South Africa.
Good to talk to you, Laura. Thank you.